Hi, Christian. It's nice to see you.
Hi Dan, how's it going?
Good. I wanted to take some of your time. I want to talk a little bit about group travel. A lot of the advisors I talk to these days really want to talk about group travel. A lot of them want to find their way into that segment. I'm curious for you, for Collette, could you talk to me a little bit about why consumers like to travel in groups and what makes it sort of an attractive option for advisors' clients?
Well, for an advisor point of view, it's a great way to to hold space. You're basically guaranteed the space for a certain amount of period of time, and the price, the land price is guaranteed. The air price is guaranteed, and depending on the company that you work with, some companies charge you a fee. Some companies don't charge you a fee for holding space. So for example, like for us, we don't. You can hold a space and it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a great benefit for the advisors because group creates a lot of revenue. And
Yeah.
for the consumer, they love to travel with the same people. They like to travel with people that they like, people that they follow, people that they admire, friends, family. So it's group travel has done extremely well for us.
Yeah. I think like-minded, I've heard that a lot, like like-minded people, like,
Like-minded people is exactly
yeah.
right.
Friends for life. I know people always describe friends they've met on these kind of group trips and
Yeah.
have them for life. So it is a good way for them to see. Uh, you mentioned a little bit about the demand. You kind of hinted at it. I'm curious. I
Yeah.
mean, has the demand for groups shifted over the past few years and into this year and expected into
It's
this year?
grown
Yeah.
tremendously. It's something that we look. 2023 was a record year. 24 is well on pace to being significantly higher than 23. And already for 25, we're already seeing a tremendous amount of growth over 24. We're well ahead of 2024. So the demand for groups is there. And the advisors, what we're seeing is actually a lot of advisors are leading their own groups. They're becoming their own group leaders, and that's something where they're inviting their own friends and family members, like-minded travelers, just like you said, Dan,
Yeah.
is what we're seeing. So yeah, the success has been tremendous.
I just have a question, Christian, then we're going to jump back into groups. You mentioned demand for 24 was
Yep,
over 23, and then
yep.
25, your expectations were even higher. I'm curious, I mean, what do you attribute this continued growing demand to? Because I know the thought in the industry was that eventually this post-COVID boom would come back to earth, but everyone seems still very, very positive.
Look, travel has become a necessity and not a luxury. I think for people, especially in our demographic, which is the 50 and 55 and up, people are looking to, they want to be able to find, look at experiences, be able to experience amazing destinations, the culture, and so on. So it's all about experiences. It's no longer about luxury goods.
Yeah.
So that's why travel has become a necessity where in 10, 15 years ago, travel was a luxury. It was always the first thing that was cut if the economy didn't go well, or if there was something that was the family, the couple had some issues. Now travel has become a part of what they need to do. They want to be able to experience, and that's what we're experiencing. And I think COVID has really shown that people weren't able to travel for a year and a half. So now they're like, well, wait a minute, I wasted a year and a half of where I couldn't travel. This is needs to be part of what I do every year. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of people are traveling 2, 3, 4 times a year now,
Yeah.
without hesitation, where previously they might do once every 2 years.
Yeah, I know economists talk about the shifts between spending on goods, spending on services. That was the sort of the reverse shift in the beginning of COVID, and it's nice to hear from you that that's continuing. But yeah, but back to groups. I know that, like I mentioned in the beginning, advisors are very keen on getting into groups, particularly
Yeah.
those who haven't done it before. I was hoping you could tell us any tips for them wanting to get started on groups, any advice you have for people who might
That,
feel a little overwhelmed, but still very much want to do so.
it's a great question, Dan, and I think the thing is, it's not as hard as people think. It's just asking the right people. The first thing that you need to do is to find the right group leader, the right Piety Piper. It's extremely important to find somebody that is people want to travel with, people that are want to follow. and that they're friends with and has a huge following. And look, there's always people like that in every town, in every neighborhood. There's always somebody that people are like, if I could travel with this person, I would. It's asking those group leaders or potential group leaders or party pipers, if they'd be willing to go on a tour, on a trip. The other thing too is making sure that you pick the right destination. Because if the group leader of the pipe piper is going on a trip, they need to make sure that they're interested in that destination. That's going to be the most important thing. So if somebody has no interest in a particular destination, they're not going to push it. They're not going to be as motivated as if they were if they've always wanted to go to Umbria and Tuscany and spend some time there, then they're going to be motivated to make sure to invite as many people as they can. All right. So those are things that are extremely important. And then the other thing too is making sure that that person is willing to invite their following, and being able to, to push it to their friends, their family, the followings. And look, there's all kinds of different group leaders and piety pipers that are in your town. It could be the pastor or the priest of the church. It could be a chamber of commerce. It could be an association that's part of the town. It could be, there's all kinds of different types of groups or scenarios that are all in those neighborhoods and towns. So it's just by asking the question, do you want to go and do a trip and have people follow you to that destination? And being implicated in the community is the key.
Yeah. I think, again, I know advisors who have niches they are particularly passionate about talk about how it's easier to sell when you're talking about something you really love. And I think that's
I mean, we have an advisor that does 2 groups to Italy every year with a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, right? They sell out every time. And it's the chef that goes on the tour. The chef is the owner of the restaurant, but this advisor partnered with the chef because they constantly went to dinner, once a week to that restaurant. It was their favorite restaurant, and kudos to that advisor. He asked the chef if he wanted to go to Italy with their clients, and he said this is a great idea and a great opportunity. And so every year he does 2 departures with us, and they sell out. So restaurants are another key. There's so many different opportunities in the communities that you can find. It's just finding the right person that's willing to lead and get excited.
Yeah, and I want to ask about Collette too, but specifically about that grouping. What's the typical size of a group? You mentioned like a restaurant group, and does Collette have a minimum to be considered a group booking?
So look, it's there's different with the travel style. It depends on the travel styles that you're doing. Like our explorations are small tours, so it's a maximum up to 24, depending on the destination. Some destinations are a maximum of 20 or 16. It just depends on the destination. And then our classic, it's up to 44. So this particular the chef of that restaurant, he loves the Italian tours at 44 passenger and sells it out. Basically, he gets about 38 people, 40 people on those tours. Although next year he's doing a few exploration tours to Italy. He wanted to try something different. So now he's doing 4 departures for next year. So which is exciting. But look, the minimum typically a group is a minimum of 10. Right. But here's the thing that we always do is if for some reason you're holding space for 20 or 25 seats or 30 seats and you only sell 5 seats or 6 seats and so on, the way that we do it is that once it's time to release the space, we release the space. Those 5 people that are booked can still go, and we're gonna sell the rest of those seats that you're holding in the retail channel. And we know we're going to be able to sell it because there's such great demand right now. So we can help. So, for the agent, that's great. They're not, the opportunity, they still can go with those 5 customers that they have on that particular trip. It's just that, that they might not have the group leader go on the tour. But that depends on what's organized. But at the end of the day is, we're there to help. with the advisors, and it's key to finding a tour operator that is there to help with all the materials and all the things that are necessary to make that that departure succeed.
Yeah. I didn't want to let you go without just asking about Collette in general, particularly for the advisors listening. Anything new, anything they should keep their eye on as we sort of get deeper into 2024?
Look, there's a lot of things going on. You know, we're going to be there's on March 1st, we have a campaign that's going for our advisors. Bonus cash for every retail booking that you make. Advisors have an opportunity to earn an extra $100 per booking, which is you know, just to say thanks. But the more important thing is that we're actually going to pay at time of deposit, because we have the advance commission that we pay. So it's as soon as you deposit, we pay up to $200 of commissions towards to the advisors. And we also now are going to pay the bonus of $100 at the same time. Here's the key though, is we're never going to call it back. If the clients decide to cancel, or we cancel the tour because it's unsafe, because you know something happened, you know, natural disaster or whatever happens, we're not going to call it back. So for the advisors, it's just rewarding them, saying, hey, this is showing you, we know that you had a lot of, it's hard work prior to getting the clients to deposit. We're showing the appreciation of all the hard work that you've done. And then the other thing too, I'll say is, look, book early for groups. 2025 is already getting extremely busy. We have tours that have been released all the way through end of May of 2026. So it's an opportunity for you to block the space as early as possible. I always recommend, look, 12 months to 18 months, or even 24 months if you can, to reserve as early as possible, because the demand is definitely there. We continue to add more departure dates right now, but because the demand is so high. So that's one thing that is, you know, it's great for us. It's great for the advisors, because, you know, groups is extremely popular. It's a popular time to travel right now within a group.
Yeah, all really, really good news. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, Christian. I really appreciate it. It was nice to hear your insights on the industry, and particularly on groups too.
Well, I appreciate it, Dan, for having me, and it's always good to see you.
All right, take care.
All right, take care.